All right, folks, straight up noon on this Tuesday, William Cole here in the Forecast Center. And of course, we are continuing to track wintry weather across parts of Oklahoma. Of course, we've been on with you basically all morning. Our team of trackers, they've been out. And of course, we're going to check back in with them. Freezing rain causing some travel issues in the Oklahoma City metro. And the very latest here in the Forecast Center, unfortunately, and this is really round one of 2 rounds of wintry precipitation we're expecting tomorrow. There will be another opportunity for that. We're going to talk about your forecast piece. Of course, this is Oklahoma Weather Live at noon, so we will talk about your forecast, your updated 12-day. That is minutes away, but right now I really do want to focus in on, well, what's going on out there right now, again, with this freezing rain and freezing mist across Oklahoma, and also these travel issues developing as well. So because of that, the National Weather Service, they have issued this traveler's advisory. That's the counties in orange, central Oklahoma included. Most of northern Oklahoma does extend up into portions of Kansas as well. Mesoscan radar, the overview here, this is really the areas we're tracking carefully, and really for a couple different reasons. But number one, over in eastern Oklahoma, this is all a liquid rain. We're going to put temperatures with this. It's important today to put temperatures with this here in just a minute. But this is a liquid rain. But again, here in central Oklahoma, portions of northern Oklahoma, as we've gone through the morning, and again, you can see it with this purple here. There's been an opportunity for freezing rain, and there has been freezing rain as we've gone through the morning. In fact, from time to time, there was moderately heavy freezing rain here in the Oklahoma City metro. Now, we're going to take a different perspective. This is Mesoscan XR. This is our extreme resolution radar showing us in exact detail where the freezing rain is, that it's winding down at least now here in central Oklahoma. But the way it looks, there is another little piece here, freezing rain, that's going to try and move up through central Oklahoma as we go over the next several hours. You see that down there in Grady County. Now, here's the other thing that we're looking at here carefully. As we look at radar, it's almost a little deceiving because you see the area bright red, and so you immediately think that's where the freezing rain is. You're seeing the green, and you think, well, that's where the liquid rain that is not freezing is. However, that is not the case today. This is very important. We've been talking about this all morning. These live air temperature numbers you're seeing right here, like Machaney where you're seeing 31, the Chandler exit there off the Turner Turnpike of 31, and even down here in Norman where we're now below 30 as well, that is actually where the ice line is. So the colors on the radar, the computer, it's doing as good of a job as it can, but it's not really telling the whole story. The opportunity for freezing rain, and you see the computer just now updating. See that last frame? See, it's taken a little while to catch up there, but in real time, we were already able to catch that, the 31 in Shawnee and the 31 up there around Chandler as well. So the opportunity for freezing rain extends even now across portions of the Turner Turnpike, down here to I-40, and then through the Oklahoma City metro as well. Again, that's where our team of trackers has been as we've gone through the day. These live red dots you're seeing, this is where our storm trackers are. Those are their live GPS locations. And what I want to do, I want to go and check in with them, get a live update on road conditions. Of course, we're going on noon. Now, the bottom line here in the Oklahoma City metro, I would absolutely discourage anyone from stepping out, driving anywhere at lunchtime, unless it's an emergency. I would stay where you are. Road conditions are slick, at least here in central Oklahoma. And in fact, because the road conditions are slick and essentially we're dealing with black ice, a lot of the roads are just kind of looking wet, but they're actually, again, slick in spots. Because of that, I would actually venture to say they're slick and hazardous because you can't really tell the areas that are slick. What I want to do, though, I want to check in with our team of trackers, first of all, here with Derick Machaney. And again, we're going to check in with Aaron Spencer here in just a second as well. Of course, on days like today, it's very important to have your experienced, dedicated team of storm trackers out there because they're ground verifying. I can kind of explain to you what's going on radar, but these guys are actually out there reporting the road conditions and exactly what type of precipitation we have. Very important to have those as well. And of course, we've had you covered with those all morning. But Derick Machaney on the western sides of the metro, we're looking at your live video. Go ahead and tell us where you are right now and give us a live update. Aaron Spencer, we're going to check in with you coming up next.
Yes, William, I am in the metro right now. I am fixing to turn out to I-40. It's going to be my next spot. The road conditions here have seemed to, they're a little bit better, but we got this new system. Well, it's a revamped system what we currently have looking at a Mesoscan from here in the truck. And so the system that we've had, it looks like it's almost starting to build back up. I'm starting to see more rain, more precipitation out of it. And so, those conditions are going to definitely go down even more if we do continue to get the amount of precipitation that we are starting to see. Traffic does seem to be at a caution position right now. And so as we do get into I-240 down here in the metro, heading south, we're going to see kind of what's initially happening here, because we've been down in the west side of Oklahoma. I've seen numerous car accidents. So far, I haven't seen any coming into the metro, but that doesn't mean that we don't have any coming in.
Derick Machaney, let me ask you this real quick, because this is important, and this is really what the folks need to know right now. This is the important information. So, and I explained this really as we went throughout the morning, and again, this is not to, take away from anyone's intelligence or anything like that, but even some of my friends didn't exactly know what freezing rain was. And again, just to kind of underscore, freezing rain, it is liquid rain, and once the temperatures go sub-freezing, it freezes on contact. So that's why it's so deceiving. That's why the roads look wet, but we do have those possible slick spots out there. Now, the most important thing, I think, right now as we head into lunchtime and even as we go through the day as well, is how are the road conditions and how are the bridges and overpasses? Because a lot of times when we have these situations, the bridges and overpasses deteriorate first. That's what we've seen as we've gone through the morning. So Derick, as you're basically kind of, analyzing this, it looks like you're basically to the I-44, I-40 junction. Looks like you're actually turning south there maybe on I-44, right there by Mathis Brothers, Whitewater and such there. Tell us exactly how the bridges and the overpasses are here at noon. And again, kind of what the roads are like as well. Again, Aaron Spencer will tell us a little bit more about the side roads with a little bit of slush. But as you're basically making your way now into the southern sides of the Oklahoma City metro, getting closer to I-240, what are the bridges and overpasses like here at noon?
Yes, William. So, the bridges look clear from my vantage point, and take that with a grain of salt, because I can't see those. So I can't tell you whether we have, ice developing. I'm going to assume that we do. Because as we get moisture on the ground, it doesn't matter if you're on a highway or if you're going, under a bridge, over an overpass, whatever the case may be, or on top of a bridge. Sorry, slick spots will and can develop. You can't necessarily see them, which is where we bring that black ice factor into play. That's the most dangerous position you can be in, is you cannot see that ice, and so you're looking at basically causing yourself a little bit of issues, or the people around you, and also have to worry about those drivers that are not paying attention, causing issues for you. So you have to be really careful with the fact that we do have precipitation on the ground, and treat it as if there was black ice. If you're traveling, on a bridge, on the highway, on the service roads, whatever the case may be, just be careful, be cautious.
That's great advice, Derick. And I mean, you've done a really great job today. Again, Derick, really, as we went through the morning, he brought us at least that jackknife semi that we saw out on I-40 around the Hinton area, and a couple other single car accidents. Of course, it's never fun. We don't enjoy spending our mornings bringing you accidents. But again, that was kind of what happened as we went through the morning. And again, hopefully, some folks maybe saw that and thought, well, maybe I don't really need to get out today. Hopefully that motivated some folks to maybe stay home or stay at work and maybe not run those errands, because that was really the case as we went through the morning. I mean, we really did have some fairly significant slick spots that developed. It wasn't a coat of ice. It wasn't a sheet of ice. That's really not what we're expecting. But again, freezing rain, it's almost worst case scenario, because it is just so deceiving. You cannot see where the slick spots are until you essentially hit it, or if you're on the interstate, till the car next to you hits it, and then that's when it kind of turns into a bad day, if you will. So that's why, again, on days like today, if you just don't have to get out and about, it's better just not to. And I want to underscore this as well. I want to go back to Mesoscan radar. We're going to talk to Aaron Spencer coming up here in just a minute as well, but I want to take a look at Mesoscan radar again, because it looks like we have another wave of freezing rain developing here. And so we've kind of been going into a bit of a lull over the last hour, where we had just some freezing drizzle, but the freezing rain was kind of winding down a little bit. But look down here around Chickasha. So this is another plume of moisture coming up here. And so really, as we go through now getting into the early afternoon, there's going to be a fairly likely opportunity. This secondary wave of freezing rain tracks on up towards the metro. And I know there's a lot of folks that are at work. You can't leave work, and you're thinking about 4 or 5 p.m. when you get off, what are the roads going to be like, and what are the impacts for you going to be? And that's an important question. Again, we're going to try and answer that as we go through the day. We're just basically taking this minute by minute. But again, I can tell you, you can see that secondary wave of, again, freezing rain down around Chickasha, lifting up towards the Oklahoma City metro. So we're going to be tracking that carefully. I want to do this as well. I want to go to Aaron Spencer, And he's in the Guthrie area, I believe, and he's actually been all over the place today. In fact, he was up in Mulhall, well north of the Oklahoma City Metro early this morning as the freezing rain was beginning up there. And then he's been as far south as really the more Norman area, back to Oklahoma City, Edmond. And he's seen several accidents today, unfortunately, as well. He's now up in the Guthrie area. And there's been some freezing rain up there, but there's also been a little bit of sleet and a little bit of snow. And Aaron, tell us about Guthrie, because some of the side roads up in Guthrie, as we saw from your video through the morning, there's actually some slush on the ground up there. So give us a live update from Guthrie.
Yes, William, that's correct. We're looking at Division here going into downtown Guthrie. The roads are starting to get a little bit warmer because of all the traffic that's been coming through. So you can see running water and mostly slush. Again, that can still make you spin out whether, it's complete ice or if it's just that slushy ice mixture with snow and whatnot. There's no precipitation coming down right now, but again, like you were saying, how down over near the Chickasha area and just a little bit north of there's another line of precipitation coming up through here. We will be watching that very closely, and if it starts coming down again back here in Guthrie, we'll definitely give you guys another update. William, back to you.
Aaron, really appreciate that. Great job today. Again, our team of trackers, Mike Russ out there today as well. I mean, everyone just doing a phenomenal job. And keep in mind, even when our guys are out there, they're in chase vehicles, yes, but they're really at just as much risk as anyone else driving around out there. They're susceptible to either them hitting a slick spot or, the person next to them possibly hitting a slick spot. So again, not always easy for our team of trackers either. And again, out there, kind of battling the elements as well. But again, they've done a great job. And of course, in Oklahoma, any time of year, winter weather, fire weather, severe weather, whatever it is, our guys are there and they're out there. And again, just demonstrating that again today. So great job to them, and really appreciate their hard work and their dedication today as well. So let's go and talk about the forecast as well. This is Oklahoma Weather Live. This is our normal forecast show we would do right now. We are in continuous coverage. We're going to get back to the storm trackers, talk to them a little bit more, but I've got some other important weather information to pass along, especially talking about another opportunity tomorrow for more freezing rain in parts of Oklahoma. More details on that coming up here in just a second. So this is our downtown Oklahoma City cam. You may be wondering what this is behind me. It's frozen up. Downtown Oklahoma City cam, ice covered from freezing rain earlier. It's 26 degrees currently in downtown Oklahoma City. Check out these live numbers around Oklahoma so you can see exactly where the cold front is, again, as it's basically come barreling through the state. And it's been a fairly slow mover as we've gone through the morning, but again, like I said, in real time, you can see exactly where it is there. We still have temperatures in the 70s, believe it or not, down in southeastern Oklahoma. In fact, down around Hugo, Idabel, it's currently 72 down there. But again, meanwhile, look at northwestern Oklahoma, Woodward, it's currently 19 degrees. Again, here in central Oklahoma, temperatures easing down as well, from 26 to right around 31 down here in Norman, 29 down around the Chickasha area. And well, in fact, even up here around Green Country, you can see where the cold front is. It's still 71 in Sallisaw. Look at that number there. But again, downtown Tulsa, 37 and dropping 32 for our friends up there around the Bartlesville area. Winds coming in there from the north, fairly breezy. Wind chill factors will be a concern as we go through the day today as well. So let's go and talk about my forecast maps here. This is kind of the meat and potatoes now, the forecast. So really, as we go through the day today, a couple things to really look at here carefully. First of all, the cold front. As we go through the day today, that will continue to push through Oklahoma down into portions of southeastern Oklahoma. Now here in central Oklahoma and northern Oklahoma, again, where you're seeing the bright red, that continues to be an opportunity for some freezing rain as we go through the day today. It looks like it's going to try and wind down some as we go through the day, but the very newest data and even what we're seeing the trends on radar with kind of that secondary wave regenerating, I do think there will be an opportunity for more freezing rain this afternoon. That could potentially impact your evening commute? I know that's the question everyone's asking. And again, we're going to be here throughout the day trying to answer that question for you with live updates again with our team of trackers as well. But again, right now in central Oklahoma, traffic looks dicey. Road conditions look dicey with possible additional freezing rain throughout the afternoon. So that's what you need to know right now. Down in southeastern Oklahoma, just a liquid rain with no chance of any frozen precipitation down there. Again, as the cold front continues to come on through, temperatures flatline and drop here in central Oklahoma. We'll still maintain at least that probability of some frozen mist, some frozen precipitation even through your evening commute. So of course we'll track that, like I said, carefully as we go through the day today, and then as we get into tonight, frozen precipitation moves into southeastern Oklahoma. Could see a zone here of freezing rain, Ardmore back up through McAllister. Still a little bit of liquid rain kind of ending down there in far southeastern Oklahoma. A few flurries in far northwestern Oklahoma. This does not look like a big deal at all. And again, overnight lows, we'll call them pretty chilly across the state, from the mid-20s in the north to some lower 30s down there in the south. So then as we get into tomorrow, Wednesday, this is important information here as well, because like I said, this is a 1-2 punch now of winter weather moving across Oklahoma. We're dealing with what we have out there today, but then also as we get into tomorrow afternoon, and especially afternoon tomorrow, as you're looking at this map here, the areas in bright red, there will be another opportunity for freezing rain, maybe some sleet, and maybe some wintry mix. I've just painted bright red on here for any of those areas tomorrow that may see that. It could be more of a wintry mix. It could be freezing rain, but again, if you're in bright red, just know tomorrow you do have another opportunity of some wintry precipitation, especially as we go through the afternoon tomorrow with some more liquid rain down in far southeastern Oklahoma, and even highs tomorrow you see generally in the 30s, most locations tomorrow not making it above freezing at all. The updated 12-day forecast, the fairly active weather pattern here over the next 4 days. Again, really wintry weather. That's the main concern over the next 2 days. High temperatures there essentially at freezing, overnight lows down in the 20s. We will rebound the temperature some. It'll still be fairly chilly as we get into Thursday and a Friday. Still an opportunity of some precipitation in Oklahoma right now that does look liquid, which is good. Of course, with the drought criteria building back in, any kind of liquid rain we can get, we'll definitely take. And then as we get deeper there into the 12-day, you see those temperatures really begin to moderate. In fact, highs back there into the 60s, and temperatures becoming a little more mild for this time of year. So that would be great news, but at least right now over the next 2 days, the thing we really have to deal with again that's a wintry precipitation. Again, not just today, but also tomorrow as well. So we're going to do another radar update here in just a second, but what I want to do, I want to go and check back in with our team of trackers. First of all, with Aaron Spencer. I know this is what everyone wants to see. Everyone likes to see the video and the live updates from the trackers. So that was the forecast piece. We're going to kind of transition now back into live coverage. Again, we'll take another look at radar, but this is up in the Guthrie area. We'll also check in with Derick Machaney, who I believe is now down around the I-240 area as well. But Aaron, you're on the live line with us. You're driving around Guthrie, and up in Guthrie, outside of the freezing rain, we've also had a little bit of sleet, and I believe there were even a couple reports of some snow up around the Guthrie area as well. And in fact, there was even some slush on the roads, and I believe in your shot we can even see the slush on the roads up there in the Guthrie area. But Aaron, bring us up to date and tell us what you're seeing up there in the Guthrie area.
Yes, William, that's correct. We are just now getting into downtown Guthrie. There is a lot of slush on both sides of the road, as you guys can tell. This part of Guthrie is mostly cleared off. ODOT and some of the Guthrie workers have done a great job on trying to clean off the roads, but no wintry precipitation is coming down right now. But again, we're still tracking that line that's coming up from the southwest over, actually going in parts of Oklahoma City in the Edmond area. But road conditions are still, not 100% great, especially on those overpasses. Just because they're melting, they could also refreeze as quick as they're melting. So, definitely keep your winter precautions out for the rest of the day and also in onto the evening, as the temperatures, are going to get lower, and parts that are slushy or that are wet can also refreeze, and that can make the surfaces more slick than they are right now. William, back to you.
Aaron Spencer, great job. I appreciate that update, but let me tell you this right now. So absolutely good advice about using your winter precautions, but I can tell you if you don't have to get out and about today, I would not do it. That's recommended, at least here in the Oklahoma City Metro, with the Traveler's Advisory, and this is the reason why. So the precipitation is kind of eased down a little bit. We've been talking about that. Aaron currently talking about no precipitation. There's his red dot, live GPS up there in Guthrie, but look at this. This is now regenerating. We have regenerating freezing rain now down across portions of Grady County, and this is basically tracking to the northeast back up into portions of Oklahoma County. So even though the precipitation, there's a bit of a lull in a large portion of Oklahoma County, northern Cleveland County, look what's regenerating down here. So this will be a secondary wave that now will come through mid to, early afternoon, and there may be an opportunity that some of that does try and hang around as we get closer to the late afternoon for your evening commute. I know that's the real important piece of this, and that's what we're going to track carefully. But look at this regenerating now down around Chickasha, lifting northeast. So there will be more freezing rain, maybe a little bit of sleet mixed in as well, but that will continue to cause travel issues. So again, if you don't have to get out and about, it's not an emergency. Again, it's still recommended you stay where you are, stay warm, stay safe, and again, stay off the roads as we now have this secondary wave regenerating and lifting back up towards the metro. I want to go to the south sides of the metro where Derick Machaney is. That's his live video. And Derick, you're on the live line with us as well. Tell us where you are now and tell us what you're seeing out there.
Yes, William. So I am actually I-35 heading forward. And out here currently, the roads look clear. Doesn't look like much precipitation has been received in this whole general area. But, you know, with the second line coming in, you know, I would not be surprised if at any point, you know, this side of the metro actually sees a fairly decent amount of precipitation once this whole new front comes in. And so, you know, if you are out and traveling, be careful. You have to get out. Don't get out. I will say that the western side of the metro had a little bit more moisture to it, and there were actually a couple of slick spots on I-240 coming in on the south side of Oklahoma City. But other than that, right now everything looks good. Traffic is pretty consistent with each other, and so once I have anything else developing momentarily, I'll definitely keep you updated on that.
Hey, Derick, tell me this. Derick Machaney, tell me this. So as we're looking at the roads here, and on days like today, this is why it's just so deceiving. So as we're looking at the roads here, are they primarily dry where you are right now? Again, I think you're on I-35, you said, heading back to the north, just north of I-240 here. I-40 will be up here in the distance here in just a few minutes. But, I mean, are the roads primarily dry where you are right now?
Yes, they are. I'm getting precipitation, but the road conditions are extremely moderate. They don't have as much moisture on them as what we've seen on I-40, even back I-40 West, as well as I-240. But we are starting to see some moisture come in the farther I get north. And so, you know, with that, you know, I'm still going to feel like we've got split spots due to the fact that we are still below freezing. If you see my camera shot, you can see that, you know, the rain is actually starting to pick up down by the Tulsa exit, but we're actually coming to the standstill, it looks like. So I don't know if traffic's just heavy or if there's another accident up there. I'll definitely let you know once I have an update.
Really just doing a phenomenal job. But again, Derick Machaney, really appreciate that update from you. And again, we'll be talking to you again coming up here in just a second. Any update on that accident, just be sure to let us know on that. And again, even as we're looking at Mesoscan radar, I just want to highlight this as well, because even where Derick Machaney is, where the roads are kind of starting to dry right now, it's a deceiving day. We don't want to overblow it at all either, but it's a deceiving day. It really is, because, you know, we've had some freezing rain. Roads were fairly wet. There were slick spots. Overall, traffic was moving okay. We had several wrecks, unfortunately, live here in Oklahoma Weather Tracker TV, including a jackknife semi from Derick Machaney that was out there by the Hinton exit. So there were some traffic snarls. That's unfortunate. We never want to see that. We don't like covering accidents. I can tell you that right now. But now the roads are starting to dry up a little bit in parts of the metro. So now in the back of your mind, you might be thinking, well, conditions are improving, things are going to be getting better. But I just don't think that's the case. And the reason why, it's because of what's regenerating. And you see this now down here around Chickasha. I think we have the secondary wave. This will be freezing rain, could be a little bit of sleet, but this is going to move right back into the Oklahoma City metro, right back over downtown, right back over Edmond. And again, there will be another opportunity for freezing rain. Some of this could be light to at times moderate freezing rain. So again, we just absolutely want to underscore that as well, that even though things are kind of drying out right now, you can see that next plume of moisture, and that is frozen moisture that again is going to move directly over downtown Oklahoma City. So again, it's still recommended. Traveler's advisory remains in effect. If you don't have to get out and about today, the bottom line is just don't do it. I mean, of course, some people have emergencies. Some people, obviously, you're at work. You just can't stay at work. You're going to have to head home. And I know that's really the big concern for a lot of folks today out there. It's the folks that are at work that can't get away, and they're going to have to make that evening commute at 4 or 5 p.m. this evening. What is the weather going to be like, and what are the road conditions going to be like? And again, that's what we're tracking very carefully there. So we're going to check back in with Aaron. I see him pulling into a Love's there. Let's see if we still have Aaron on the live line. He might be just setting a shot up there. But Aaron, tell us where you are now, if you're still up in the Guthrie area. And I know there's definitely still some slush on the roads up there around the Guthrie area. But if you're on the live line, he may be having to make a pit stop here. I'm not sure. But Aaron, tell us where you are and give us an update if you're able to right now.
Yes, William. We were just trying to get you guys a good, kind of a good shot of I-35. We're looking at it right now.
Well, I'll be honest, Aaron, we really can't. All we can see right there is the fence. All we can see right there. We really can't see anything at all. So we're going to check back in with Aaron. It's a little deceiving when you're trying to angle the camera and what we can actually see. Sometimes it's not that great. So right now we can only see the black fence. We're going to check back in with Aaron coming up here in just a second. And his shot, he's going to get that repositioned and centered back up a little bit differently for us here momentarily. We just talked to Derick Machaney. And what I want to do, let's go to Derick Machaney. I think he's got something for me here on the live line. Derick, we're looking at your video. We've got you on the live line. I hear you trying to tell me something. What's going on? Give us an update and tell us where you are.
Yes, William. So I'm actually downtown Oklahoma City right now. And it looks like the second wave is beginning to take its toll, because we are getting a fairly good amount of rain out of this whole system that's coming in. And it was pretty heavy there on I-35 north of the state capitol. And so, everybody that's out in the metro area, as far as Oklahoma, like the city itself, be careful, because it will not take long for anything to freeze over, especially with the amount of rain that we are receiving at the moment. And so just take your precautions. Back to you, William.
Yeah, great advice, Derick. And again, the bottom line is, I just want to keep saying it over and over, unless it's an emergency, unless you absolutely have to get out, I would not get out. Again, we have the secondary wave of a freezing rain. And this has been the one development that's kind of happened really over about the last 30 minutes or so that we've really locked onto here in the forecast center. It kind of looked like things were kind of starting to ease down just a little bit. The precipitation was maybe winding down just a little bit, and maybe we were going to get some improvement as we went through the afternoon. Of course, all this important for that all-important evening commute. But I just don't think that's the case. And again, the main reason why is we look at live mesoscan radar here. Again, you see the secondary area of freezing rain. And so this will be round two, and there it is. And in fact, it's even expanding. It's not even just so much lifting northeast, it's now expanding and blossoming. And so there's downtown. Derick, you may want to hit your GPS as well. So Derick's actually right here in downtown. We need him to update his GPS or turn it on. And you can see the secondary wave of precip basically moving right now back into central Oklahoma. So the bottom line, and again, we don't want to sound like a broken record, but obviously just like any channel, people tune in, tune out. You may just now be joining us on Oklahoma Weather Tracker TV. So we just want to keep giving the important information over and over. That way you have it. And the important information, at least here going on 12:30, is that here in central Oklahoma, there's a traveler's advisory in effect. And really travel in central Oklahoma, Oklahoma County, Cleveland County, Canadian County, Logan County, it's discouraged. Again, if you don't have to get out and about, simply just don't do it. Obviously, there's emergencies, there's times you just have to get out, and we understand that. But again, you can see the secondary wave now. You see the bright reds there on mesoscan radar. That is moderate freezing rain that is now moving back into the western sides of the metro. The western sides of the metro really had some issues with freezing rain earlier today, so there's already some travel issues in that part of the metro. But again, this will be another swath that essentially moves back through portions of central Oklahoma. Now, with that being said, like I said, we do have our team of trackers out there, and I think Aaron is repositioned. He's up in the Guthrie area, and the road conditions up in Guthrie area, they did deteriorate quite a bit quicker as we went through the morning, because there was a little bit of sleet and a little bit of snow mixed in up around the Guthrie area. And in fact, you could actually see it. There were kind of ruts in the road and a little bit of slush on some of the roads up there in the Guthrie area. And so I believe, Aaron, and you can actually even see it on some of the vegetation. You see the white right there. Now, some of that's freezing rain that's kind of frozen, but a little bit of that is even a little bit of that sleet that was up there in the Guthrie area as well. So, Aaron, I believe you're still in Guthrie. Looks like we're looking at I-35. We're looking at your shot here. Give us an update there from the far northern sides of the metro.
William. We did reposition here just a little bit. Now we're looking at I-35. As you guys can see, for the off-ramp to Guthrie, the traffic is very slow, which is a good thing, especially coming off of that hill. I slid earlier while we were on our break. I was trying to get off onto a side road off a division here in Guthrie, and I almost slid into a curb, and I wasn't even going fast. I was just trying to slow down to turn. But most of the roads here in Guthrie are starting to, all the slush is starting to go away. It's starting to turn into water and go into the drains and drain out. But again, like I was saying earlier, as the temperatures start going down even more later on this evening, whenever the sun goes down, in some spots it will become slick, especially in like gas station parking lots where the slush is just kind of standing around. They definitely want to be careful about that. And it looks like there is a highway patrolman. I don't think it's in the view because it's just right behind that electricity pole. But it looks like there is a highway patrolman up there on the northbound lane on I-35. So we'll definitely go check that out here in a couple minutes, and we'll give you another update on that. William, back to you.
Aaron, Spencer, doing a great job there. Just want to pass on some information here just now coming into the forecast center. The OU campus in Norman is closing at 12:45, obviously due to the wintry weather. The OU campus here in Norman closing at 12:45. The OSU campus in Stillwater is closing at 2 p.m. today. The OSU campus in Stillwater closing at 2 p.m. today. Let's see, also Oklahoma City Public Schools. School is out at 2 o'clock today, so it's canceling school just a little bit early in Oklahoma City. So 2 p.m. today there. Again, also the OSU campus closing today at 2 p.m. And then the OU campus down here in Norman closing at 12:45. Let's see, the Edmond schools, they are now releasing students early due to obviously the wintry weather as well. So school closings now happening, some a little bit early, or some you're essentially able to go pick your student up. Edmond, they're just releasing students. And again, just to recap again as well, the OSU campus in Stillwater closing at 2 p.m. and the OU campus here in Norman 12:45 rather. So essentially here in about 15 minutes. Again, the OU campus here in Norman. So let's do this. Let's go and kind of take an overview again here of what's going on. And I'm just going to pull up a radar over here. I want to show the full state. Now, the reason why we're really focused into the Oklahoma City metro today, and of course we cover all of Oklahoma, and I just want to be very clear about this. It's not to take away from anything that's going on in any other part of the state, but the reason why we're focused on the Oklahoma City metro, that is where the bulk of the freezing rain is. There is outright liquid, non-freezing rain in eastern Oklahoma. Some of this is thunderstorm activity, general thunderstorm activity, non-severe. This over here is okay. This is a good rain. This is what we need here. There's not a lot to cover with that, just to be completely honest with you. So that's why we're not necessarily mentioning hometowns over here. It's not because you're not important. If you were getting freezing rain, we'd be talking about you, but you're just getting liquid rain, and it's a rain right now, a good rain, okay? So you're okay over there. But it's a different story here in the Oklahoma City metro, as we now have wave number 2 of freezing rain that's moving into the Oklahoma City metro. And again, unfortunately, the way it looks, this could impact some folks' evening commute here in the Oklahoma City metro. So that's why we're paying extra special attention to what's going on here in the metro. And that's why the bulk of our coverage today has been here in the metro as well. So I just want to be very clear about that. We don't just focus on Oklahoma City. We don't leave any parts of the state out, but we cover where there's active weather. Again, if you're getting just rain or a general thunderstorm, there's just not a lot going on there. So again, right now our focus is here in central Oklahoma. That is where our team of storm trackers has been as we've gone through the day, western, central Oklahoma, and actually parts of northern Oklahoma earlier with Aaron Spencer as well. And again, that's where we are tracking this freezing rain. And again, the very latest here, and this is important, the very latest here on Mesoscan radar, we got to keep taking a look at this here, is that the precipitation, there was at least a good trend for about an hour. As we were getting closer to noon, the overall precipitation was beginning to wind down in central Oklahoma. And again, as we're taking this essentially hour by hour, getting closer to your evening commute, again, piecing the weather puzzle together here where there'll be issues for your evening commute. Again, a lot of folks, you're stuck at work. You can't get away from work. And 4 or 5 p.m. this evening, you're going to have to drive home or attempt to drive home. And you're wondering, and you're maybe a little bit nervous right now about what the weather's going to be and what the road conditions are going to be like. So that's why we're really focused in on that. We really have you covered with that. But it looked like things were maybe trying to improve a little bit. But now it's actually the exact opposite. It's the exact opposite now because you see we have this secondary wave of moderate freezing rain that essentially is moving back into portions of Oklahoma County. And again, as that continues to blossom and move on in, that will continue to give us that opportunity, again, for more freezing rain. Again, essentially as we as we go through the afternoon. And again, that could be, unfortunately, impacting some folks' evening commute. So important information, important storyline. We're going to continue to track that again as we really go through the afternoon now. And of course, the other piece of this, you just saw radar, but almost essentially the more important piece of this today, it is the storm trackers that are out in the field verifying the road conditions and even what type of precipitation it is that we're currently receiving around the metro. So what I want to do, I want to check in with Derick Machaney, one of our storm trackers here. He's been around the Oklahoma City metro. In fact, I believe he's maybe in downtown Oklahoma City now. He'll have to give us an update. He's primarily been on the interstates, the major interstates. He's now on a secondary road. We can see that here. Secondary roads important as well. A lot of times the interstates will be slick, but not that bad. And then you get on a secondary road and there's more issues. Now, keep in mind, we're not expecting a glaze of ice on the roads, but as this next batch of freezing rain comes in, unfortunately, there's going to be some more of these black ice slick spots that continue to develop around the metro. And well, that's concerning for me and it's concerning for you as well. So let's check in with Derick Machaney here. Derick, tell us where you are and give us a live update.
Yes, William, I'm on West Reno and Klein Avenue right now. I still have a fairly decent amount of rain that is still coming down in this particular area. You know, the road conditions they're fair and stable. I have so far yet to hit a slick spot, but that doesn't mean that they're not there. You know, so traffic is fairly heavy down in the metro side as far as downtown. And so, you know, with those additional vehicles going constantly, you know, that's also helping keep the road conditions, you know, fair and stable. So, you know, as I'm heading west right now on Reno, and everything at the moment looks good. And if anything else decides to change between now and then, our next update, I will definitely update you with that. But we are still getting precipitation and the amounts of rain down here in the metro itself. Back to you, William.
Absolutely. Derick, really appreciate that update. And is it still just in the form of freezing rain? The only reason I asked that is because earlier up in the Guthrie area, again, where Aaron Spencer is, we did have some sleet. We had a little bit of snow. And in fact, I mean, you can really even see some at least minor accumulations and some slush that even developed on the roadways. And again, that was from a little bit earlier today. So again, as you're kind of traveling right there through central Oklahoma, I mean, essentially right there in downtown Oklahoma City, I mean, is it just a light freezing rain that you're receiving? Or has more of this moderate band started to move in? Because again, on radar, we're starting to get some fairly dark reds moving right back up over downtown Oklahoma City. And again, this is why it's important. This is what we call ground verifying. So just because I'm seeing a dark red on radar, that's what I'm seeing on the computer, but is that actually happening? Is that happening in real life? What does that mean? What does that dark red mean? Is it light freezing rain? Is it moderate? Is it heavy? And that's what the storm trackers answer is. They're actually out there in it. They can let us know. So Derick, as this darker red is now moving back into your area, what exactly are you seeing? Is this lighter freezing rain or is it starting to pick back up to the moderate quality as earlier?
It is light freezing rain at the moment, but I will say back when I was downtown, it was a pretty good, fairly amount of heavy rain. And so, you know, with that being said, in some spots it is picking up, in some spots just not as much. So, you know, it's just kind of the way that it moves within the locations of these rain bands. And so, you know, I am seeing moderate to light amounts at the moment. But I'm going to also say that once the system completely moves in over the metro and over downtown, you know, it's going to get heavier and heavier as the afternoon kind of goes by.
Hey, so, Derick Machaney, let me tell you this real quick. Derick Machaney, let me also pass this along as well. I-40, this is going to be out near Calumet in Canadian County. And I can show you where this is on radar here in just a second. Apparently there's been some type of an accident out there. Just for our friends out in that area, I-40 out around Calumet, I-40 is apparently shut down. And again, that's going to be in Canadian County, just west of the Oklahoma City metro. It's shut down, Calumet and I-40, essentially the Calumet exit. I believe that's out there right around mile marker 109. Calumet would be right up in here. This is I-40. So this is the area that we're talking about. There's been some type of an accident out there. And so I-40, again, essentially is at a standstill, again, out there in Canadian County. But again, where Derick Machaney is, again, if you're wondering what these red dots are here on Oklahoma Weather Tracker TV, all of our storm trackers, they have live GPS, and on our radar, we're able to plot their exact location. This updates second by second as they move. Very important for severe weather when we're talking about supercells and things like that. But even on days like today, when we're talking about wintry weather, you just saw Derick's live video there. You're wondering, well, where exactly is he at? Well, in real time, you can see with their live GPS locations that, again, Derick, essentially, he's right in downtown Oklahoma City. There he is. There's his red dot. We're now about to go up here to this red dot. Aaron Spencer, he's up there on the far northern sides of the metro, up around the Guthrie area. And Aaron, as we go and take a look at your live video, give us an update from the Guthrie area and tell us what you're seeing up there. And also let us know a little bit more about that sleet that you guys had earlier. And in fact, even on Aaron's shot, you can actually even see some of the white on the ground. Not all of that is the freezing rain that we had earlier that's maybe stuck to some of that vegetation there, but some of that is actually sleet that we saw up in Guthrie. So Aaron, give us a live update from up there.
Yes, William, that's correct. I'm actually looking on the ground right next to me, and there's quite a bit of sleet. I'd say probably about an inch and a half to maybe a little more, up towards 2 inches of sleet. I mean, there's a lot on the ground, William. I actually just had the opportunity to talk to one of the ODOT workers that is actually a family friend of mine, and he's even stressing to everyone, if you do not have to be on the roads, don't. You know, they have to be out on the roads because, you know, they're going to be putting the salt and sand just in case people that, you know, do have to come from work or other places, or like you said, even emergencies. You know, they're having to be out, and they're doing a fantastic job of trying to clean up the roads as much as possible. But you know, there's no precipitation coming down right now. Again, like you were saying, you can kind of just see it on the ground. But we're watching it right now on our radar, further to our south. But if any starts moving up through here, we'll definitely let you guys know. If you are out there today, again, please be safe and exercise caution out there on the roads. William, back to you.
Aaron Spencer, let me also tell you this as well, as we're taking a look now, live mesoscan radar. So this is important information, again, that we're passing along, again, taking this kind of second by second. You know, as we got closer to noon, it looked like things were maybe going to try and improve just a little bit. It looks like the overall precipitation was maybe trying to wind down here in central Oklahoma. Of course, we had the freezing rain essentially all morning. But I can tell you now, as we're going on a little bit closer to 1 o'clock, things are changing the other direction completely. And on mesoscan radar, you can see it here very clearly. In fact, we have this new plume of moisture. It's regenerating now. This is freezing rain regenerating and moving right back in over downtown Oklahoma City, all the way down through the Norman area. And in fact, some of this may get as far north as Aaron up there in Guthrie. Aaron, you may need to think about coming a little further to the south. We'll talk about that here in a second. But this is essentially coming right up over where Derick Machaney is. We're going to take another look at Derick Machaney's video here in just a second and get an update from him. Again, this is really why it's important to have these storm trackers out there, because you're seeing these darker red bands. These darker red bands now starting to develop. And so the question for the storm trackers, my question for the storm trackers is going to be, what is the precipitation rate? Do we have moderate freezing rain moving back in, or is this still light freezing rain? But you're seeing these ultra dark bands. Now you see those moving right back up into the Oklahoma City metro. And again, you know, I know we keep saying it over and over, but as we get closer now to that evening commute, you know, there's a lot of folks, and I mean rightly so, that are maybe slightly nervous. Again, you're at work, you're not really able to get away from work. We all understand that. And, you know, come 4, 5, 6 o'clock this evening, you're going to have to drive home, or you're going to have to do something. And what exactly are the road conditions going to be? Is there still going to be some frozen precipitation around? Those are all valid questions. And again, those are concerning questions. So we're going to try and again continue to answer those as we go through the day today. But I can tell you, at least as we go through early to possibly mid-afternoon, there is a secondary regenerating wave of at least frozen precipitation, freezing rain that's moving back through the metro. Now, hopefully we'll be able to clear this out as we get closer to your evening commute. There will still be slick spots regardless for the evening commute if it is still freezing, raining or not. But again, the best case scenario would be that the freezing rain is over by 4 or 5 p.m. and you're just dealing with slick spots and not with active freezing rain. Now, will that happen? That's still to be determined, because I tell you what, the secondary wave, it's regenerating fairly quickly, and there's a fairly decent surge of this now coming up. So we're going to track this real carefully, I can tell you that right now. This is what I want to do now. I want to go back to Derick Machaney, and this is our storm tracker. You see his red dot right there in downtown Oklahoma City, and you see where he's live in downtown Oklahoma City by his live GPS location. This is his live video. And Derick, this is really where you come into play now. We're seeing the dark red moving up through your area, and your video may have froze for 1 second. We'll see if we can kick that back in. But the darker red looks like it's now moving up through central Oklahoma, downtown Oklahoma City. Of course, we have our downtown Oklahoma City cam, but it's frozen solid. You can't see anything out of it. It's a solid sheet of ice. Downtown Oklahoma City cam completely frozen up. So looks like Derick's video is kicking back in. So Derick, you're now kind of our eyes in the field there in downtown Oklahoma City. Tell us exactly where you are and tell us what the precipitation is like where you are right now so we can kind of match that up to radar.
Yes, William. So I am just down here on West Reno, basically just south on South Portland. And I'm looking to the south here, and so basically what we're seeing is the rain is starting to come up just a little bit from where it was, but it's staying kind of neutral. So I'm getting these bands of heavy, and then I'm getting these bands of light, or we're not really light, but moderate. And so the traffic, I will tell you, is pretty heavy down in some parts of Portland itself, which means if we're getting a lot of rain here, you know, we're getting a big band up in the central part of Oklahoma City down in the metro. But just verifying right now, I do have a pretty good amount of moderate rain coming down in this general direction. And I also noticed a little bit of sleet coming in too. So that's also something to watch out for as well, because sleet will freeze real quick.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Freezing rain.
Absolutely, Derick, and really appreciate that update. Doing a great job. And video was just a little intermittent there, so we just cut away from it just momentarily. But we will be checking back in with Derick Machaney as well. Of course, the other big story, it's also the temperatures out there today as well. Of course, as this Arctic front is now slowly slicing through Oklahoma. You know, we have temperatures near 70 in southeastern parts of the state. I'll show you live numbers here in a minute. But again, behind the front, temperatures are dropping fairly quickly. These numbers here on radar, these are live air temperature numbers. 26 in Guthrie to right around 29 down here in Norman. Those temperatures continue to ease down, and that, of course, keep in mind that the colder it gets and the surfaces and such that this rain can freeze on, as they chill down as well, it can make the impacts of the freezing rain a little bit more severe than what we saw earlier this morning when we were essentially right at 31, just below freezing. We're now well below freezing, so there could be some more substantial impacts to this. So this is really important stuff here that, again, we're tracking second by second with you live. We're just taking it as it comes in. We're getting information from the storm trackers, and of course we're passing it along to you, along with looking at radar as well. So that was an update from Derick in downtown Oklahoma City. Let's go back up to the Guthrie area, the northern sides of the metro. Looks like Aaron's on the move again. And Aaron, you're our eyes there on the northern sides of town. Tell us where you are right now and give us a live update.
Yes, William. We are on 105 just out of Guthrie. We're kind of just taking a quick look at the road conditions, and then we're going to start heading south back towards the metro, north sides of the metro over near Edmond, as that second band of winter weather comes through. But as you guys can tell, you know, the roads right here aren't as cleared as, you know, like the ones in downtown Guthrie, but you know, ODOT and the rest of the more central people, like here in Guthrie, you know, we have a couple of our vehicles that can clear snow off the roads. They're doing as best as they can, trying to get the interstates clear, and then after they hit the interstates, they're going to be trying to get more of these highways cleared after they do that. But you know, they're definitely doing a great job on that. Once we get this second line coming in, we'll definitely give you guys more of an update on what's going on. And again, I've said this a lot, but you know, you just can't say it enough during these times of the year. You know, definitely exercise extreme caution with the roads. Even if it does look dry, you know, there could be those parts of black ice that you hit, and you could hit somebody on an oncoming lane, or you could, you know, just even injure yourself by running into like electricity poles or something like that. So definitely be careful and stay weather aware with us. William, back to you.
Aaron Spencer, really appreciate that update. Folks, I can tell you this. I can verify from our studios in downtown Norman, we've got a moderate freezing rain. So just from what I literally while the trackers were talking to you, I just took a look out real quick, and we've got a moderate freezing rain in Norman in progress. So I just want to pass that along. I'm also, of course, kind of verifying what we're seeing on radar on days like today. That's important. Going to talk more to the trackers here in a second, but I just want to pass on some closings. In fact, I want to recap some closings for you now. Langston University, by the way, closed at noon. So they've already closed. Just want to pass that along. That's their main campus and also their OKC campus. Then also the OU campus here in Norman is closing at 12:45. Essentially, it's just now closed. The OU campus in Norman here has just closed as of 12:45. The OSU campus in Stillwater is closing today at 2 p.m. And then also Oklahoma City Public Schools are releasing a little bit early today at 2 p.m. as well. And Edmond Public Schools are releasing early. In other words, if you want to go pick up your kiddo from school, they are releasing early. So that's kind of an update on some closings. Haven't heard anything from Norman quite yet, but I can tell you down here in Norman, moderate freezing rain now in progress as well. We're going to go back to the tracker video momentarily as well. Of course, that is important. But again, as we're taking a look at Mesoscan radar, again, just kind of taking this minute by minute, we're just kind of on live here, hanging out with you, so to speak, if you will. And I can tell you really, as we went through the morning, as the freezing rain initially started to kind of settle in to central Oklahoma, we had temperatures 32, 31, kind of borderline at that freezing cusp. But as we now kind of have the secondary wave of freezing rain that's now moving into central Oklahoma, talking about Norman, Moore, downtown Oklahoma City, Bethany, back all the way up through the Edmond area. You see the brighter reds there on Mesoscan radar. As we now have the secondary wave of freezing rain moving in, it's a little bit of a different story. And the reason why I say that, our temperatures are so much now colder. They're so much colder than they were earlier, as opposed to being at 32, 31. We're now at 26, 27 down here in Norman, 27 there in eastern Oklahoma County. Things have had a little more time to chill down, so there could be a little more in the way of impacts now with this secondary batch of freezing rain that's moving in. Now, of course, we're not saying that to alarm anybody. We don't do the hype stuff. It's nothing like that. But these are real deal facts, and this is just what I want folks to know, is that, we had the initial wave. There were some travel snarls. Unfortunately, we had those live here on Oklahoma Weather Tracker TV, but I am personally a little more concerned now with the secondary wave, as we've had, things chill down a little bit more, maybe even some of the power lines. I don't think we're anywhere near the level of any power issues, but I think we do maybe need to start watching some of the power lines. There could be a little bit of a buildup now, as those have subcooled as well with this secondary wave moving in. So again, this is what we're doing. We're just analyzing it, taking it minute by minute with you. I'm analyzing the radar, but I really think the most important part, and the thing you really want to see as well, it is the storm trackers and their video, again, what they're seeing out and about around the Oklahoma City metro. Now, the other piece of this, and let me go and kind of zoom out the radar here, because I also just want to be very clear about this as well. Of course, we have folks all over Oklahoma and, well, in fact, all over the world that watch our coverage. But for our friends over in eastern Oklahoma, if there was really active weather over there, we would be talking about you right now as well. Now, the bottom line in eastern Oklahoma, temperatures are in the mid to upper 30s. In fact, we're still at 60 down there in McAllister as that front's moving on through. This is all rain. This is just a good kind of chilly rain in eastern Oklahoma. There's no weather complications, if you will, in that part of the state. So the fact we're not really talking about our friends over there that much right now, it's because there's just not a lot going on other than rain. If there was active weather, just like always, we would talk about eastern Oklahoma. We don't just focus on the Oklahoma City metro. So I just want to be clear about that. The reason why we're focusing on the Oklahoma City metro, that's where the active weather is today. That's where the freezing rain is right now. And, unfortunately, there could be some major impacts with this freezing rain, possibly to a lot of folks' evening commute. So that's why we're really tied in here to the Oklahoma City metro. I'm not forgetting about eastern Oklahoma. You folks, again, right now are getting a chilly rain. If anything changes over there, we'll get back to eastern Oklahoma. But right now, what I want to do, you see me here, I'm going to zoom it right back in to central Oklahoma. This right now, at least, is where the active weather is. This is also where we have our team of trackers as well. So with that being said, let's do this. Let's get back to Derick Machaney. His video, it's a little intermittent. We're going to take it as it comes. In fact, we might even have a little bit of ice buildup on his antennas. We're not sure. We'll figure that out. That could be the problem, though, Derick. So as we're looking at your video, a little intermittent coming in here. You're still in central Oklahoma. We saw your live GPS dot. Give us an update, because it looks like from what I'm seeing down here in Norman, looking out our studio window, there's some moderate freezing rain in progress here, and that leads me to believe, with the same colors on radar, there's a moderate freezing rain now in downtown Oklahoma City. Give us a live update on that.
Yes, William. So I am on South Meridian on I-40, just north of I-40 right now. Yes, we have seen a fairly good amount of freezing rain. As a matter of fact, me and my driver had to get out and actually clear our windshield wipers, which we did a little bit earlier, but we had to get out and clear them again. We got to a point where we couldn't actually see from what was going on out of our windshield. So yes, it is freezing, and right now it's very, very moderate, but there's times that it's ramping up, and there's times that it's dying down. And then again, we've also got sleet kind of mixed in along with the freezing rain, and so which is kind of creating a double issue, as we have sleet and freezing rain coming down. And so, it's one thing that we are monitoring right now. And as we look at Mesoscan, we do have that band showing over central Oklahoma, and it does look to be another powerful system, even away from what we had this morning. So, not only did we have to deal with what we had this morning, but we've also got a new system that has developed. In some parts, it is showing that we have heavy precipitation. Right now, we can verify that it's moderate to sometimes heavy. And so if you're out, be careful, bring your extra supplies with you, and definitely keep your distance away from the drivers when you're driving. Back to you, William.
Okay, Derick Machaney, great job, great update. Really appreciate his hard work, and really all of our trackers. And again, I just want to underscore, our team of trackers, they're in chase vehicles, yes, but they're putting just as much risk out there today as you are if you're out driving on the roads. And, Derick Machaney says exercise caution. I'm going to take it a step further. Traveler's advisory is in effect for the entire Oklahoma City metro. We have freezing rain moving in. If you don't have to get out and about right now, I would say don't do it. Stay someplace warm, stay someplace safe. Freezing rain, and I said this a lot earlier this morning, and I want to say it again. It's not to insult anyone's intelligence at all, but even some of my friends didn't totally understand what freezing rain is. They maybe thought it was like ice falling from the sky. That's not the case. It's liquid rain that falls, and as it hits these surfaces that have frozen because the air temperatures are sub-freezing, it freezes on contact. So it's very deceiving. The roads may just look wet until you hit that patch of black ice, and then it turns into a bad day. Freezing rain, it's very, very deceiving, and a lot of times it can almost be worst case if you're out there on the road. So, definitely keep that in mind. There is a little bit of sleet mixing in now as well. That's what our trackers are reporting, and that can kind of aggravate those road conditions a little bit more. So I just want to clarify kind of what we're seeing out there. It's not necessarily that the roads are a solid sheet of ice. It's nothing like that at all. The roads are going to be wet as this next round of freezing rain comes in, but the bridges and overpasses and other parts of roadways, especially secondary roads, they can develop black ice spots. And where those are, your guess is as good as mine. And I can tell you, you don't want to find one, because if you do find one, you could be involved in some type of a traffic accident. And of course, if you're maybe driving on an interstate multi-lane and someone next to you finds one of those pieces of black ice rather, again, they could easily spin into you. And that could also result in a bad day. So, the bottom line from the forecast center is, if you don't have to get out and about, just simply don't do it. Now's not the time. Obviously, some people have to get out and about. There's no exception. And obviously emergencies as well. We never want to take away from any emergency either. But again, that's kind of the bottom line. If you just have an errand to run, or you just need to go do something real quick, now is not the time. Again, with the secondary wave of freezing rain just regenerating and just now moving back into central Oklahoma. We're going to check that again on radar. But I want to get back up into Aaron Spencer. And Aaron, I know you're off the major interstate now. You're off of I-35 now. I think you're on kind of a state highway up around the Guthrie area, maybe tracking back down towards Edmond. Tell us exactly where you are now and give us an update on what you're seeing.
Yes, William. We actually just turned off of Oklahoma Highway 105 onto Indian Meridian. We're kind of slowly making our way back south because the band that we're looking at over in far southeastern Logan County, we're just to the north of that, so we're going to be heading towards that so we can give you guys in southeastern Logan County kind of an update on what's going on down there. And then we're going to be heading on back down towards the metro, so we can also be over there giving you guys a live update for the interstates and highways, stuff like that. But the road conditions out here aren't quite as bad here on Indian Meridian, so that's definitely good. And then 105 had some spots where it was a little bit more covered than others, but it really wasn't all that bad out there, William, because they've been doing a pretty good job at clearing it off. So back to you.
Okay, really appreciate that update. Aaron Spencer doing a great job today. Again, part of our team of trackers. And here's what I want to do. Let's go and take a look at this here. So Mesoscan radar, I'm going to zoom this in ultra tight to the Oklahoma City Metro. And again, the only reason we're talking about the Metro right now, again, this is currently where the freezing rain is. This is where the concern is, again, really as we get a little bit deeper into the afternoon and, essentially even as we go deeper into the afternoon here as well. So we're going to look at Mesoscan radar here in just 1 second. And the thing that I really want to underscore that we're seeing here on radar, again, is the fact, and in fact, we're going to go and take an overview here, first of all, and we're going to take a look at Mesoscan radar zoomed in here momentarily as well. So again, just kind of an overview going on 1 p.m. now here in Oklahoma. William Cole in the Forecast Center. This is Oklahoma Weather Tracker TV, continuous coverage of winter weather across parts of Oklahoma. Now, I say parts of Oklahoma because not all of Oklahoma. Our friends over in eastern Oklahoma, you guys are getting an outright rain. That is a good liquid rain that is happening now over in eastern Oklahoma. Now here in central Oklahoma, it's a bit of a different story because we've been dealing with freezing rain as we've gone through the morning. And in fact, not just one round of freezing rain. We had one this morning, but now as we're heading into the afternoon, we have this secondary wave that's regenerating and now moving back into the metro. And this is what I'm talking about right here. And obviously we have a lot of folks that are at work right now. They can't get off of work. I mean, we understand it. You got to work, you got to work. And, as we get closer to 4 and 5 p.m., you're going to be thinking about your evening commute. You're going to be having to get out on the roadways, and you're wondering what the weather's going to be and will there be any major travel impacts to that. And so as we take a look at Mesoscan radar here, this is Oklahoma County here. And again, the bright red you're seeing, this is that secondary wave of freezing rain that's moving back in. Now, best case scenario would be that we can get this through and kind of get it out of central Oklahoma as we get closer to 4 and 5 o'clock, and there's no precipitation ongoing by the time we get to 4 and 5 o'clock. Of course, there would still be slick spots, that opportunity for slick spots. We want to be clear about that, but we're hoping we can get this in and out of central Oklahoma again for your evening commute. That's what we're tracking minute by minute here for you on the channel. So we've got live radar watching that, then also our team of trackers, these red dots you're seeing, those are our team of trackers. That is their live GPS location. You see Aaron over there now in eastern Logan County. Derick Machaney, we're going to check back in with him. He's in downtown Oklahoma City. Mark Hill's live GPS location, and even Trey down here in Norman as well. So the bottom line, and again, if we sound like a broken record, we're kind of saying the same stuff over and over a couple times. You just have to remember that, just like any channel, people tune in, they tune out. So somebody who's been watching us all morning, well, there may have been somebody who's just now tuned in, and they're also needing the very latest information as well. So we're just trying to pass along the pertinent information over and over. Again, that way you have it. So whether you're sitting at work watching us on the mobile app, online, or you're at home right now watching us on Roku, Apple, or Amazon Fire TV, again, the critical information, again, is getting passed to you. So we're going to check back in with our team of trackers here as well. What I want to do, I want to check back in with Derick Machaney. I think we've got him on the live line. I think we've got him back on the live line here. And so this is what I want to do. I want to take a look at his video because he's been in downtown Oklahoma City really as we've kind of gone through most of the day. He came in from western Oklahoma, and in fact, Derick earlier this morning, unfortunately, he had the semi that jackknifed right in front of him on I-40. He's had a couple other single and multi-car accidents, unfortunately, as we went through the day. Of course, we do not enjoy bringing accidents to you live here on Oklahoma Weather Tracker TV at all. One of the reasons why we do it during winter weather is to show you what's going on out there for our informational source, and then also in the hopes that, that may motivate some folks that, don't necessarily have to get out to just not get out and stay home. That, again, if heaven forbid they were to hit a slick spot like that other unfortunate Oklahoman, the same thing as far as a traffic accident, well, it could happen to them as well. So that's why we bring those to you live. So this is back in central Oklahoma. Derick, go and tell us exactly where you are now and give us a live update as far as what you're seeing with road conditions and also precipitation where you are right now as well.
Yes, William. So I am still up here on South Meridian, just north of I-40, looking towards the metro. Can't see the metro where I'm at, but I am looking towards the metro. And taking a look at some of the some of the apps that I have here, we're not the only ones that have reported sleet. We have numerous people out there that are reporting sleet. And so the rain is not as heavy as it was 5 minutes ago. But it's still coming down. It's really light. But then it also, earlier we had that moderate to high. Now we're kind of light to a moderate mix of moisture where we're sitting at the moment. And so it's still there. We're still below freezing. The road conditions are still deteriorating. So be careful while you're out working, or while you're out traveling, while you're out working, even coming home. And even as these schools end up closing, here in the metro and across Oklahoma, be careful if you're getting your young ones away from school back to home. My best advice is, if you don't have to do anything, head straight home if you can, because today is not really a day to be out playing, having a fun day. Today is more of a serious day to actually take weather into effect. That way that you're not creating issues for yourself, but also for the people that are out driving as well.
Hey, Derick Machaney, let me also tell you this. Great update there as well, but let me also tell you this, just talking about some of those school closings, I just want to repass this along. Langston University in Langston and in Oklahoma City, both of those campuses closed at noon. The OU campus here in Norman closed at 12:45, so that is now closed. The OSU campus in Stillwater is closing today at 2 p.m. Oklahoma City Public Schools, they're closing at 2 p.m., so just a little bit early there for Oklahoma City. And then Edmond Public Schools, they are releasing students early. In other words, if you get there and pick the kiddo up, they'll go ahead and release them early. We haven't heard anything from Norman Public Schools. We have moderate freezing rain in progress here in Norman. We haven't heard anything from Norman Public Schools yet, but if we do hear anything from them, of course, we'll be sure to pass that along as well. But that is another good point that Derick brings up. I mean, obviously, folks are going to have to be out and about, if nothing else, to pick up the kiddos as we go, a little bit deeper into the mid-afternoon as well. Let's do a mesoscan update here. Let me go and kind of zoom this out a little bit. And this is what I want to do. And again, we've kind of talked about this as we've gone through the morning. The colors on the radar, obviously where you're seeing the brighter reds and the darker reds, that's where the radar is saying that the freezing rain is. Now, the thing I can tell you, that's not only where the freezing rain is. And the reason why I say that, and this is why it's so important to have live data. There's some folks in Oklahoma City that have live temperatures, or temperatures rather, that update like once an hour. Our numbers update once every 5 minutes. They're directly from the Oklahoma Mesonet. And the reason why it's important on days like today, you see these numbers that say 32, 31, you see 30 down there. There's a 29 down there in Grady County. So even though the computer's not necessarily painting those areas red, I can tell you the ice line is as far south as any of these 32-degree numbers. There's a 32 over here in Seminole. You see this is all green on the computer, but that's not the case. There's an opportunity for freezing rain even over here in Seminole. 32, ice line moving right through Seminole, an opportunity for freezing rain there as well. So again, even on days like today, live numbers, live temperatures really serve justice. I mean, especially when you're looking at radar data, you're trying to pinpoint exactly where that freezing rain line is. And again, I can tell you with all certainty, and again, you see the computer painted further and further to the east, but we know that well ahead of time with these live numbers. And even down there across portions of far eastern McLean County, you see that 32 just down there, now 33 down in Pauls Valley. So I-35 corridor, there's going to be an opportunity for some freezing rain down there as well as we go over the next 30 minutes or so. So again, that's kind of where we are right now. Again, we don't have a lot of fast changing weather conditions to bring you. This is a little bit different than severe weather. A lot of times with severe weather, it's literally second by second. Things are happening that fast with their storm trackers. On a day like today, it's not necessarily that fast, but we do have evolving weather conditions. And that's what we've seen through the morning, where we had the first wave of freezing rain move in. It kind of slowly eased on out. Now we have the secondary round that's kind of regenerated and moved back through, and that's going to necessarily kind of be the case as we go through the day today. We're going to kind of take this minute by minute, hour by hour, and of course the main question a lot of folks out there really want answered as we're getting a little bit deeper into the afternoon: how is this going to impact their evening commute? And of course, that's the question we're going to try and answer, of course, with the data coming in here to the forecast center, but also road condition wise with our experienced team of storm trackers that have been out there since before dark, before sunrise, rather earlier this morning. And they've been out there essentially all day, again, tracking this in through central and northern Oklahoma, again, just doing a phenomenal job. So with that being said, I want to go back to our storm trackers. I want to go back to Aaron Spencer here. And Aaron, you're getting just a little bit further to the east, I think, from where some of the precip is. I know you're heading back into far northeastern Oklahoma County. I think you're getting a little closer there to Lake Arcadia from where your live GPS location is. We're looking at your video. Tell us what you're seeing, where you are, and give us a live update. Aaron, if you're on the live line, we may have lost Aaron temporarily. So we're seeing his live video there coming in great, of course, from the talk box. That's where the video is coming from. His cell service we may have lost just temporarily there. So let's do this. I want to go back to Derick Machaney. He's here in central Oklahoma. And Derick, tell us exactly where you are. We're looking at your shot there, and to tell us where you are and also tell us what kind of precipitation you're getting there as well.
Absolutely. I am actually still here on South Meridian. We've been looking at the radar to kind of see what's happening around the metro in certain spots. Right now, our precipitation levels are fairly low. We haven't had a huge amount like we did a little bit ago, but they're still there. So it's really a matter of, is everything at some point, when is it going to start freezing over again, and how bad is it going to get once it does? Because we got to look at this too. We have moisture right now. Our grounds are wet. Once we start getting into the later times of tonight, even though we still have just this little bit, this stuff's going to refreeze over, which is going to create extremely treacherous road conditions, regardless of really where you're at, unless there's a good amount of salt. And DOT, they have been out today, and as long as they continue to cover our highways and our streets, that'll help with that. But again, this moisture that's coming in, the second band that's coming in, will freeze once we get into the later days. And so, with the travel that's happening right now, all these kids getting out of school early, colleges getting out of school early, the traffic's going to be a little bit more heavier than it has been the last several hours. And so, those are times when we don't want anything to ever happen, but with that amount of, with the amount of traffic being as heavy as it will be, things can happen. And so it's very, you have to be very cautious, when you're out driving in these kind of conditions, making sure that the people next to you, making sure you have a distance away from the people that are around you and in front of you. That way you have that safety net when you are traveling. Sorry. Back to you, William.
Yeah, great advice. Derick Machaney doing a great job. Again, part of our team of trackers out there. We're going to check your video again. Your video is just a little intermittent, but we'll check back with it. I think the bottom line from the forecast center, folks, I think as we get closer to your evening commute, it's just a little more concerning. And again, I don't want to be an alarmist. We're not hyping. It's nothing like that. But as this freezing rain continues, and this is moderate freezing rain, as reported by our storm trackers, and even what I'm seeing from our studios here in downtown Norman, there could be some real issues as we get a little bit closer to your evening commute. So right now, fingers crossed, the best plan would be for this precipitation to wind down before we get to that evening commute. Now, there's still going to be slick spots regardless, because we have ongoing freezing rain. Even if it ends, there's going to be slick spots. I want to be very clear about that. But the best case scenario would be you don't have to drive through active freezing rain. And that may be the case. It's going to be razor close to us getting this out of here by 4 and 5 p.m., but there's a chance this may be lingering into that 4 and 5 p.m. hour. That could cause some major issues for the evening commute. So start thinking about that, maybe planning ahead. Think about that. Don't just be caught out there on the roads trying to drive, with everyone else who's just getting out, kind of like cattle call. Everyone's heading home. And we know even when there's just a little bit of liquid rain, sometimes there can be major problems. I mean, a little bit of liquid going to frozen precipitation can cause some fairly significant issues. So definitely keep that in the back of your mind here, really, as we go deeper into the afternoon. Let's go back to Aaron Spencer. I know we had his video up a few minutes ago, and I think we lost him off the live line. He's back on the live line with us now. And Aaron, give us an update. Tell us where you are. I think you're obviously you're dipping down a little bit closer to Lake Arcadia there, into portions of northeastern Oklahoma County where there is still active frozen precipitation going. But tell us where you are right now and give us a live update.
Yes, William. We're still on Indian Meridian. We're in far southern Logan County. We're still headed down south towards the Edmond north part of the metro. But right now we're just getting some light drizzle, and of course we're on some county roads, but we're definitely making it through. But again, we're getting some drizzle right now, and it's going to be freezing rain to the like the power lines and trees and stuff. As we're passing a couple, we can see some of the built-up ice, not just from earlier, but also some building back up now as we're having that second wave of freezing rain come through. So again, still practice that winter precaution as you're going down any roads, really, because I mean even these back roads are going to be slick and muddy, and you don't know if you're going to slide out the road or whatnot. And on these county roads, there might not be somebody to be able to come out and get you for 30 minutes, an hour, if not even more. And hypothermia can set in if you would happen to have car troubles out here. So definitely, again, we cannot stress that enough. Just to be safe out today. And again, if you don't have to get out, just to stay inside, stay warm, and keep watching us, and we'll give you updates as good as we can. William, back to you.
Okay, Aaron Spencer, really appreciate that update. Just want to pass this along as well. Got a report here from the Weather Service. This is up in Payne County, up around Stillwater, a tenth of an inch of ice. And a tenth of an inch of ice may not sound like a lot. That can really lead to some issues. And that's up here in Stillwater, up here in Payne County. And a lot of the precipitation winding down there could still be a little bit of drizzle. But a tenth of an inch of ice, that can go a long way, even on those power poles as well. So here's what we're going to do, folks. We've been on for most of the morning. We've been on now for most of the early afternoon. We're going to take a quick break, obviously let our team of trackers kind of reorganize here real quick as well. I'm going to look over some new data here in the forecast center, and of course as we get closer to that evening commute, we're going to be right back with you. So we'll probably be off for maybe about 30 minutes or so. The replay, as always, will be on. But again, if anything else dramatically changes, we'll be right back with you. But I think the key piece of this is we're going to be with you live here as we get closer to the evening commute, and then through your evening commute as well. And don't forget, I just want, in case you missed the forecast earlier, I just want to underscore, this is round one. We have another round of freezing precipitation tomorrow. This is a 1-2 punch across Oklahoma. Freezing rain and wintry mix, again, possible tomorrow as well. So a lot going on Oklahoma weather-wise, but of course, as always, we're here with you and we have you covered throughout the day. Otherwise, keep it here with Oklahoma Weather Tracker TV. We'll keep you up to date with the latest live weather information for Oklahoma.
The latest Oklahoma weather now. Live Oklahoma temperatures. Live Oklahoma City metro temperatures. Live Tulsa metro temperatures. Live Oklahoma wind chills. Live Oklahoma wind gusts and direction. Today's highest wind gusts. 24-hour rainfall amounts. Live watch and warning map. Live mesoscan radar. The Oklahoma forecast map. The updated 12-day forecast.